tonight at 9. Dylan Harper will miss the game with a minor groin issue, but is expected back for his debut Saturday against the Mavs and number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg. In other NBA news, the groups for the 2025 Emirates NBA Cup for this season were announced, and the draw for the Spurs will be in Group C in the West with Denver, Golden State, Houston, and Portland.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me, however you may be joining me, whether that's on 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you are watching on YouTube, that's right, we stream all of our shows live here at SA Sports Star. Whether that's the Morning Huddle from 6 to 10, the Blitz from 2 to 6, or right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure from 6 to 7. We got you. Just go to YouTube, lock in, search SA Sports Star. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show as it happens. Gilbert P. says he's going to watch Superman after the show tonight. And I'm very excited about James Gunn's Superman. I've heard good things. Please let me know what's going on with that. He's probably going to watch it like 3 times this weekend. Appreciate everybody for rolling through. Of course, you can always call in the old-fashioned way, too, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you want to be a part of the conversation, we've got Summer League basketball as the Las Vegas Summer League is underway, and lots to get into and dig into there. No Dylan Harper tonight for the San Antonio Spurs with the Summer League, but you know, they went 1-2 while they were out in California. They should have beat the Lakers and been 2-1, blew a massive lead late in that game. But what are the overall thoughts about how they done? And more importantly, the moves they're making. They signed Jordan McLaughlin, 1 year, $3 million, another shooter. It continues to, you got Cornette, you've got Olenek, you've re-signed McLaughlin, and now the logjam at guard has lessened by getting rid of Branham and Wesley. So now there's minutes to these shooters behind with the depth that you have with the starters, whether it's Keldon or Devin or Champagny or Harper or Castle or Fox. You can go deep with it, but plenty of options for the San Antonio Spurs and a nice little mix as well. And earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Rob and AJ talking about those additions and what it means after what they've seen in the Summer League and the additions that they're making.
The Spurs in action tonight, Rob, against the Philadelphia 76ers. We're still maybe not going to see Dylan Harper.
We'll see. I'm sure we will at some point this week.
They are putting them on the big court, which means they're going to be on ESPN TV. So if you've never been to the Summer League or been to Vegas, so there's
Thomas and Mack, which is the big place.
Yeah, Thomas and Mack is where UNLV plays their basketball games, and then connected to it is something called the Cox Pavilion, which is a smaller.
It's like the Joe Freeman attached.
It kind of is. It's a similar thing, except I mean they were built at the same time. I don't really understand why they exist like this, but that way they can have 2 games going at once. And what they do typically is they put the featured game on the big court and the lesser game on the smaller court. Well, I mean, and obviously these aren't the NBA teams, but the Nuggets and Bucks are on the small court, which is kind of cool.
They don't have the number 2 pick.
Exactly. So we will see the Sixers and the Spurs on ESPN television tonight.
The Spurs picked up Jordan McLaughlin's pick.
You and I have talked about that. Like, if you're going to be a dude who can only do one thing, and make no mistake, Jordan McLaughlin can only do one thing. And if you can only do that, and you want to be on the Spurs, you better make that one thing shooting, because that's the thing they lack the most.
Yeah.
And he can shoot.
I think, and I don't know what the timeline was, but I get the sense that the Spurs drafted Carter Bryant. They were hoping in their wildest dreams that maybe Carter is a little bit further along than he appeared on tape. That even in the personal workouts, he looked like maybe possibly he was further along and could give him something this year. And then after the practices began and the first 3 Summer League games went through, the Spurs realized that Carter Bryant is not. While he does have a massive potential and he looks beautiful, the form is there. You can tell the shot will matter at some point in his career. He's just several years away. And they realized after a couple of days, he's not going to be ready this year. He's at best a monthly San Antonio bench guy, but for most part, Austin, we better sign McLaughlin. And I think that might have been how it worked out.
Now, McLaughlin's also probably not going to be on the floor.
Oh, no.
Probably ever.
He's an edge, 15. Yeah, he's not a dude you're going to use. But that was what Carter Bryant, in their wildest dreams, if he'd have just been maybe a little bit further along, that would have been his spot. But it just doesn't appear that he'll be here.
Yeah. So you mentioned basically means there's one spot left.
By my math, I could be wrong, but it appears that there's one more spot that could be available, right there at the edge at 16, 17. So, or it's at 15. The two-way deals are done. They've already signed those. So I think there might be a spot available. I mean, they could bring back somebody that's here, but it looks like there might be one
and
kind of floating around.
If David Jones or David Jones Garcia, as he's now known, if he continues to do what he's done,
that would be interesting. I really like his game. Unfortunately, his game is behind a long list of dudes that are getting paid more for a longer, it's going to be really hard for him to make it. I can tell you this.
Positionally, what do you think is like the last spot available then?
Well, it might be him, depending on which way you go. Because, I mean, if we're going to be running 3 guards a lot of times, you're going to need a lot of guards. I mean, if your offense is predicated on that kind of stuff, you're going to need 6 guards to kind of muddle through the season. Now, you won't play all 6 all the time, but you might need all 6. So he might, just by numbers and scheme, muddle in over a big. You never know. It feels like we're pretty solid up at the 4 or 5. I don't think there's any more need for that.
No more need for big people.
And they signed McLaughlin, who's kind of the 3-edge Harrison Barnes backup, last gas kind of fit. And then maybe there might be room. I just tell everybody, watch this kid play. You're going to like this game.
He's a little undersized, but he is a 2/3.
Mm-hmm. He's 6'6", but he doesn't play 6'6". He's a 3 and a rim guy, which
I didn't think he was 6'6".
I read I could be wrong on that, because even I was surprised on the size that I saw.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if he's 6'6", then I shouldn't say he's undersized.
What
he does.
I say that because I thought he was undersized too, and when I saw how they listed him,
I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4". But he did play a lot of that, like the wing in college, and he was like way more like when you look at how he's built.
6'4".
Okay, when you look at how he's built, you think he's a combo guard, like a 1-2, but he's much more of a 2-3 in his game. Maybe the Spurs could use a guy.
I'll
like
tell you what, as excited as I am for Harper, I can't wait to see him continue to play, because I get the sense if we don't keep him, somebody going.
That's what I was going to say. I got a feeling that he's going to be on a team come the start of the season. And whether it's the Spurs or not, I guess, is to be determined.
It's going to be very interesting to kind of see how the rest of that final roster spot plays out. But I feel like they bring back McLaughlin, and Rob made a great point about maybe they don't think Carter Bryant's where they feel comfortable yet. And that can change, and it can change quickly as things start to confidence grows and your shots start to fall, but at least it gives you a fallback option. And there's one thing Carter Bryant can continue to do, and that is be a defensive menace. And he can always continually get better on that side of the ball. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Hour. Jeff McDonald was out in California with the Summer League team when they were there. What did he see from it? What does he expect from them in Vegas starting tonight when they take on the Philadelphia 76ers coming up here later tonight? Also, what does he think of their moves so far in the offseason? Bringing in a Luke Cornett, adding a Kelly Olynyk. Well, Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News, he joined Jason Minix on the Blitz a little bit earlier today. We're going to bring that to you coming up right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
On Friday, July 11th, Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions bring you two of the fiercest female athletes on the planet. One ring, one final chapter. Katie Taylor is chasing ultimate glory. Amanda Serrano is fighting for redemption and revenge. This is more than a fight. It's the first ever women's boxing trilogy, and the world is watching. The stakes higher than ever. The rivalry legendary. Who will win? Don't miss this epic showdown live from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Watch Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on Netflix.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in San Antonio without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in San Antonio for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text EARN to 64,000. San Antonio is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in San Antonio and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text EARN to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text EARN to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text EARN to 64,000.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and the Gomez Law Firm present the 2nd annual Back to School Drive. Saturday, August 2nd from 11 till 1 or while supplies last at the Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Free backpacks and school supplies for all school-age children while supplies last. So don't be late. Saturday, August 2nd, 11 till 1. Presented by the Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Sponsored in part by Las Palapas, Array, the College of Healthcare Professionals, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's get wild.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Appreciate y'all following me along. And, of course, you can follow me on all social media at I Am Pleasure. You can follow the station at USA Sports Star. Drew Show in our comments saying, don't blink or you may miss Dylan Harper. This limited engagement. 2 games tops, total 4 quarters. You're not wrong. And as soon as I saw that he was going to be out for the opener against Philadelphia, I was like, but expected to play against the Mavericks on Saturday. That told me all I needed to know. He's going to play against Cooper Flagg, the number 1 overall pick, not the number 3 overall pick in VJ Edgecombe. He's going to play 1 game. That's it. That's all I expect to see from Dylan Harper. And that's probably all you should expect as well, because it feels like the Spurs are going to be extremely cautious with him. And rightfully so. I mean, same was done with Wemby. He didn't play a lot while he was there, but they're building up 1 versus 2. That seems to be the game that the Spurs, Harper, Flagg all have circled. And that's the one that the Spurs are going to commit to. What say you? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. But hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of Carter Bryant because I want to see him get better, because it was rough in California for him. Speaking of California, Jeff McDowell was following the Spurs over in California when they were in the Summer League there. Back from his trip, back with thoughts, not just on the Summer League, but the additions of Luke Cornett, Kelly Olynyk, and now re-signing Jordan McLaughlin. Jeff McDowell, he joined the Blitz with Jason Minix a little bit earlier this afternoon. Bring you some of that interview right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Back from the California part of Summer League, and I'm actually going to start with not who you expect. I've been calling him the Chupacabra, David Jones Garcia. Now, I didn't see the first 2 games. I did see a lot of the third game. I saw a lot of you. I thought you were going to get on the bench and start calling plays at one point. But does David Jones Garcia actually have a future with the San Antonio Spurs more than just the Austin Spurs? Because that dude lit it up in California.
I was going to say, I think he's going to be a very, very, very good G League player.
Yeah.
And whether that means he's on a 2-way deal with the Spurs and they get a little piece of him or not, but I don't really view him as a part of like future going forward. But maybe I'm cynical. Like, I've just seen a lot of these guys over the years that have these put up numbers in Summer League, but they're not really, NBA players. And sometimes I'm wrong. Every so often I'm wrong. A long time ago, just to date myself, a long time ago, was at a Summer League and covering various guys that were going to be on the Spurs roster. But the best player on the team for the whole Vegas was this guy I'd never heard of. He was undrafted. I didn't really pay that much attention because, that happens every summer. There's undrafted guys that put up numbers. They don't make teams. Thinking about the last day I was there, I needed a story to write. So, walking out of the gym after the last game, I chased down this guy that's been killing it. And that's the first time I ever talked to Gary Neal. Wow. And he ended up making the team, the Spurs team, and being a part of kind of their first finals run in 2013 for sure. So sometimes these guys do work out, but I'm still like, I'll believe it when I see it with those kind of guys,
Absolutely. And again, I know no Dylan Harper in California, but what did you learn about Harper, Bryant, the guys that are going to be a part of this team and help them move forward and, I don't know, make you work in May and maybe even into June here in the very near future?
Carter Bryant, he's the guy that actually played. He was the most interesting player out there, if you're a Spurs fan, just because he was the 1 lottery pick that played in San Francisco. And nobody's going to argue he had he played in 2 games. No one's going to argue he had a great 2 games. Carter Bryant's not going to tell you he had a great 2 games. The coaching staff's not going to tell you he had a great 2 games, but I think he had kind of what you expected from a lottery guy, from a 19-year-old out there playing in his first Summer League. He didn't shoot it well. His head was swimming. I mean, he didn't know the plays, and that's not even a slam on him. It's just like they just got here. Like, when I was watching Carter Bryant play out there, I was like, I swear, like it was like a week ago. I was in Brooklyn watching this guy get drafted. Like he gets drafted and he's here and he's finding a house, and then there's 2 practices in there where you learn the plays, and so he was just a little overwhelmed, I think. But I think we did see some elements of what he can do quickly, and that's defend people. There were a couple moments in that game against the Lakers where he was just on people's butts, guarding them. And I think that's a good starting point for him. He's not, when they drafted him, he's not a guy that I expected to really be a contributor to the NBA Spurs like on day one. I wouldn't be surprised if Carter Bryant spends a lot of his rookie season in the G League, but eventually they do see him, maybe down the line, they do see him as a guy that can really, really fill a hole for them as a shooter, a 3-and-D guy. He's got a good-looking shot. It just has not gone in the 2 games that he played in California. So I think maybe some fans would watch those 2 games, terribly small sample size, and say, well, he's been a little disappointing. I say it's kind of about what you expect when you get a 19-year-old that hadn't played in 6 months and has never played against men before, doesn't know the plays, like I said. And I would also, maybe that would be a word of caution for when Dylan Harper finally gets on the floor in Vegas. Don't expect too much from a 19-year-old in his first summer league game. Wemby wasn't great either.
No.
His first summer league. So just keep some expectation, or your expectations in check for these guys when they're in summer league.
And stay off Twitter during summer league, because Wemby was a bust according to Twitter after that first summer league game. And again, that place can be a cesspool. But you know, there's stuff there. Now with talking to the people that you've been talking to, and obviously everybody wants to see what Dylan Harper is going to do. You take a guy number 2 overall, won't play tonight, is expected maybe on Saturday. But fast forward to September, October, November, December, what do you see his role, Dylan Harper's role with the team once we get to the regular season?
Like, he's going to get minutes, right? I think you're probably looking at a role similar to what Steph Castle had to start the season when the team had the full roster and everybody was healthy. You know, they kind of brought him along. Steph played from day one, got minutes from day one, got significant minutes from day one, but they brought him along a little slowly off the bench. You know, he was a bench guy. I think that's probably what you'll see from Harper to start. One thing I'll say about Dylan Harper, has not played a single second for the Spurs, but I think we've already learned a little bit about his character and his makeup just by watching him kind of on the bench and interacting with everybody at the Summer League in San Francisco. And, I don't want to make too big a deal of it, but, this is the number 2 overall pick. He comes to San Antonio. He's a 19-year-old kid, wants to play, loves to play, isn't playing because of a groin issue, has to just sit there and watch. I think a lot of guys in that situation would be respectful, and there'd be a level of attentiveness, and but Dylan Harper has been like the ultimate cheerleader on the sideline, an encourager. He's engaged in everything that's going on that floor. Even though he's not playing, I learned this the last game in San Francisco where I got to sit on basically on the bench, and I got to watch him. Just he's encouraging all these guys, and he's cheering for all these guys. He's calling them by name, which I think sounds funny, but like, he just met these guys and probably doesn't even know their names. Like, he's not going to play with 99% of these guys in his entire life after the summer, but he's got that kind of leadership vibe, that kind of lead by example vibe. And there's a lot of character stuff you can see in him without him ever touching a ball yet. So I think those were really interesting things to watch from him in San Francisco, and we'll kind of see how it all looks when they roll him onto the floor finally in Vegas.
Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. The Spurs haven't been as aggressive as I wanted them to be this offseason, although I'm not surprised it's the Spurs. Your thoughts on the 2 new additions that they have made besides the draft picks?
I think they looked at their roster and decided the first thing they needed to do was get Wemby some. And I agree with him, actually. I think that was a huge hole in last year's roster. Number one, Wemby didn't even play the last half of the season, but even when Wemby was healthy, the Spurs have the greatest defense on earth when Wemby's on the floor, and the second he leaves, is just play up. they needed to find a way to address that. And I think Luke Cornett is the perfect way to address that. Like I've run that stat here a lot, like of players in the league that defended 250 shots at the rim last year. Cornett is in the top 4 in terms of, poorest field goal percentage against them. One of the guys ahead of him is going to be on his team this year. That's Victor Wembanyama. And there was Daniel Gafford and Chet Holmgren. So what you have is an elite rim defender coming off the bench. Basically, you have an elite rim defender backing up an elite rim defender. And that's going to be huge for the Spurs this year. There were so many games last year where they had it going, they were in the game, and then Victor comes out, and here comes a run, and now they can't get it back. And I think just having that little bit of stoppage is going to be great. And I think Kelly Olynyk is going to be helpful too. He's going to be more of like a spread the floor kind of big shooter off the rim. Can also defend a little bit. I don't see him as being a huge addition, but at 34, but I think he can provide a lot of veteran. Again, you're losing Chris Paul, so a lot of veteran stuff kind of in the background you'll get with him. Obviously they have not addressed that need for like a dead-eye 40% three-point shooter, and they may not this summer. And that's okay if you're willing to accept that we're not competing for championships right this second. Maybe that's next summer's goal. Okay, we filled hole number 1, which is the backup big men, the front court. We've got depth there now. Maybe next summer or the trade deadline is where you look at, we need this guy that can make just a wide open 3 when he sees it. My archetype has been Luke Kennard, who they could not afford to sign this offseason, but Luke Kennard type would be kind of what you're looking for next. And that might be Carter Bryant by this time next year. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm looking at there. I'm still looking at this as a work in progress kind of roster, and they've made a lot of strides. And I would be surprised if they're not competing for a playoff spot next year. And that might sound disappointing to some fans. Just competing for a playoff spot? But I think that would be that's the next step. I think if you look at the West, just competing for a playoff spot is a pretty tall order. If they're in the East, I'd say a playoff team for sure. Like, don't make another move this offseason, and I'd put all my money on them making the playoffs in the East. The West is just a tougher beast right now.
It really is, and I think maybe that's where me as a Spurs fan a little disappointed, because I thought last year when they made the move for De'Aaron Fox, when they did, that was the difference between being a play-in team and a playoff team, and obviously blood clots changed everything. But I look at the West has gotten better, and while the Spurs have gotten better, I just think that there's a bigger margin now than there was. Maybe a play-in team, but I couldn't say right now, I think this is a team that's in the top 6.
So much depends on health for everybody. The Spurs, obviously, we saw it last year when Victor went out. It was just any hope of competing for anything was over. But there's a lot of older teams ahead of them in the West, and a team that you probably looks on paper right now as a team that you would shoe in for the playoffs. Like, there's going to be some Memphis level injury to them, and they're not going to be in the hunt. So I agree with you that it looks like a tall hill to climb now, but it might not be as tall a hill to climb once we get into things. But I also think there's this element of just, you're kind of letting the Oklahoma Cities of the world kind of fade. Like, there's no point in being the best you can be right now if you're the Spurs, because you're not going to get past Oklahoma City. Go trade for Kevin Durant and you're still losing to Oklahoma City. I mean, you lose Kevin Durant and you have no way to replace anything because you don't have assets. So there is a little bit of biding your time still going on that I know fans don't want to hear. They want to win everything right now, and I get it. But the Spurs are building this so far they're building it pretty well the right way. It's just going slower than fans would like. I don't think it's going slower than management anticipated. I think it's kind of right on schedule. But I think there will be a time. Like, if the Spurs were in if we're just choose Durant as an example. If the Spurs were in the Rockets position where they won 52 games and were second in the West and feel like they're right there, that's when you push everything to the table and say, we'll take Kevin Durant for 2 years and see if we can make the push right now. But Spurs are they're still not there yet. They're still not to the point where we're one Kevin Durant away from playing in finals. They're not there yet. Maybe next year they will be at this time, but not quite there yet, I don't think.
And just being in the mix right now would be a vast improvement for this team. And I look at what Luke was able to do in college as a 3-point shooter. Olynyk can shoot the 3. Do you think that Brian Wright and Mitch Johnson are saying, all right, we don't have that sniper, that Minix wants, but we can improve our 3-point shooting with some of these guys, even though Luke wasn't a 3-point shooter in Boston, they didn't want him to, but you look at his college 3-point shooting, and he was damn good at that.
Olenek can shoot it for a big man. Like, he's been around 40% before. Like, so you're right on the money there. The Cornette thing is interesting because he's basically the inverse of every big man in the league right now. They come in as normal big men, like a Brook Lopez, comes in as a back basket, beefy big man, and over time he's taught that you need to be able to shoot the 3-pointer to survive in today's NBA. Cornette did the other way around, where he came in kind of a little bit of a shooter, and now doesn't shoot him at all. He doesn't shoot him at all. And that's so interesting to me because it's also like not that Boston is adverse to shooting threes. They shot more 3-pointers known to man last year. Like, everybody is shooting threes on that team but Cornette. So that's just been an interesting turn of events for that. But I think if you're looking for internal improvements, I think there is some there, and I will say this. This surprised me when I looked it up. The Spurs were 7th in the league in 3-pointers made last year. Like, so they were making a bunch of threes last year. The percentage wasn't great. It's better than it has been in years past. They were up to, I think, 20th, so still bottom third, but almost in the middle third. So there are guys on the team that if they could just make a little bit of leap, I think it would fill a void there. And it may not be Steph Castle turning to a 40% 3-point shooter, but if he can go from 28 to 34, all of a sudden that boosts you. If I think Victor can be a more efficient 3-point shooter. I think he started last year in a very slump, and I think a lot of that was just shot selection. He was taking bad threes, and sort of towards the middle of the year, he was kind of figuring out his shot diet where he was taking better threes. He wasn't taking a bunch of these one-legged things or these things from half court, like with 24 seconds left on the shot clock. He was taking open threes, and his efficiency was rising. So I think there are guys on the team that you may not think of as being, Steve Kerr or Craig Hodges, to use some old man names, but like, if they can improve their percentage a little bit, it lifts the entire. If a bunch of those guys can improve their percentage a little bit, it kind of lifts all boats there. And so maybe there's some hope for that too.
Jeff McDonald from the San Antonio Express News. Turning over the Express News coverage of Summer League to Tom Mooresborn in Vegas, because I think you're ready to hit vacation and enjoy the time off, man. The season will be here before you know it.
I will. I think I might find a TV and watch Dylan Harper versus Cooper Flagg on Saturday if it comes to fruition, though.
If it comes to fruition, and we do to get to see it. In the comments section, a lot going on in there. Drew Show, very, very disappointed with the Carter Bryant pick at 14. And a lot of Spurs fans are. I'm not singling out specifically Drew Show, but a lot of people just wanted them to trade that pick, which I get it. I also, he's talking about the fouls and the foul rate that he's had so far through the Summer League. It's early. It's early in his career. It's early in his development. And Derek Queen, who was another guy that a lot of Spurs fans wanted, I know they did, had 7 turnovers through the first 3 quarters in his first Summer League game today. So it's always going to be hindsight to look back and say, look, Jalen Williams, when you took Jeremy Sohan, like, that's always going to be a thing in any draft in any league, whether it's the NFL, the people that passed on JJ Watt or Micah Parsons or Tom Brady. You're always going to look back and be like, we could have had that guy. Carter Bryant is a project. We've said it from the beginning. He was likely to be a project. There are 2 things he can hang his hat on. His 3-point, his stroke looks good, and eventually they're just going to start falling. And people with good strokes, bad strokes, everybody goes through shooting slumps. And maybe it's the jitters of being in your first game, not knowing the playbook exceptionally well at this point in time in life. As he gets more accustomed to the NBA, more accustomed to the lifestyle, maybe those shots start dropping, or maybe they never start dropping and he's a 30% 3-point shooter and the Spurs miss. But I'm not going to write the book on a kid 2 Summer League games in from California. I need to see it. I need to see if there's any improvement from California to Vegas, from Vegas to Austin or San Antonio, wherever he ends up early in his first season. And then from year 1 to year 2. At 14, I don't expect him to come in and be an all-NBA player. And I don't think the Spurs do either. But if they struck gold, we're all going to look stupid at the end of it. But I guarantee you, if they do strike gold, a lot of people are going to love the kid because of just how good he is, how well-spoken he is, and the way he is. He seems like a Spur. And if he busts, there's going to be a lot of guys at the front of the line to scream, "I told you so." But those are also the guys that if he would have hit, would have been like, it was a great pick by the Spurs. He's one of my favorite players because of who he is as a person. That's fandom for you. It's unfortunate and it's ugly, but I'm going to give this kid at least more than 30 seconds to cook before I write the book on him. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I'm James Pledger, right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, your phone calls plus Big 12, they've got a very weird partnership coming. We'll explain on the other side. Coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Satan, are you there?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you did the Metallica backwards lyrics.
Yeah.
Did you do Missy's backwards lyrics?
She and I were talking, just hanging, keeping it real.
Keeping it real, huh?
I said, you should put a backwards message in there. And she asked me, is that really going to work? I said, show.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone, come back. It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life, come back.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Dr. Damaso Oliva Jr. here, candidate for Ray Fail 77. I invite you to join us for the 170 Grander Poker Tournament on Saturday, August 2nd. Proudly sponsored by Thomas J. Henry and benefiting the Ray Fail 77 Scholarship Fund. We're putting $170,000 on the table, and it could be yours. The top women's and men's finishers each win $50,000. Register now at TexasHold'emSA.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Thanks for joining me this evening. Drew Show talking about Kelly Olynyk. I'm about Kelly Olynyk. I'm very excited that they landed Kelly Olynyk. I loved Kelly Olynyk when he was a Houston Rocket. I loved him when he was with the Miami Heat. Kelly Olynyk's a great player, and he is now a San Antonio Spur. I don't have to worry about drafting him. Spurs found a way to get him without having to draft him. And he says radio hosts are good at those lopsided equivalencies. I don't know which equivalency you were talking about. Was it the Jalen Williams one with Jeremy Sohan? Because same player, picked after him, turned out better than him. You can use that in any draft with any player. I'm not going to write him off. Now, it may take him a minute, and that's fine. I don't care if it takes him a minute. It's the 14th pick. I didn't expect immediate help. Now, if your argument is they should have traded the 14th pick for someone, sure. But it takes two to tango. And who was available? They were able to get a Kelly Olynyk for a couple of players and some second-round picks. Cool. For the 14th pick, depends who's available and what you're getting in return and whether were they willing to give up Corey Kispert for 14. Maybe not. Maybe they were asking for more. Maybe Brian Wright didn't want to pay more. I do know New Orleans reported asking price for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones was 3 first-round picks. That's more than 14. The 14th pick, not 14 number ones. That would be stupid. But also, it feels like 3 first-round picks for either Trey Murphy or Herb Jones seems excessive as well. So, says the false equivalency was he saying he expects Carter to be an all-star player. Okay. I get it. You want somebody that can help immediately with this team. You don't always get that in any realm. And sometimes people take longer to develop than others. And sometimes people can develop quickly. And maybe Carter Bryant can develop quickly. And maybe he can be an asset to this team by the time we get through training camp and into the first or second month of the season. And he picks up on it quick. But you heard Carter Bryant's drafted, get to San Antonio press conference, try and find a place to live. Here's 2 days of practice with a playbook you have to learn before 3 games in California. I can understand if he didn't pick it up quickly or if there's been a transition period. That's not true, Drew. You're always welcome to call into this show. And you know you're welcome to. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. What say you? because you're always welcome into this show. There's never been a hiatus put on anyone. I always like people to come with your argument, come with your intentions, come with whatever you want, because I am all about talking it out. We may disagree on something. We may find a middle ground on something, or you may talk me into your side of it. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the Big 12 as they're making a big partnership. And I'm not quite sure if we're ready for what it is. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Looking at you if you want to get on here, Drew, in the comment section on YouTube, or just continue to comment. I'll get to your comments there if you're more comfortable there. But the Big 12, does this partnership make sense for either? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and the Gomez Law Firm present the second annual Back to School Drive, Saturday, August 2nd from 11 till 1 or while supplies last at the Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Free backpacks and school supplies for all school-age children while supplies last, so don't be late. Presented by the Gomez Law Firm, 2943 Moss Rock Drive. Sponsored in part by Las Palapas, Array, the College of Healthcare Professionals, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So the kids' back-to-school lists were extra long.
Extra long sounds extra expensive.
Staples had everything at amazing prices.
Suspiciously amazing if you ask me.
Some items were just 25 cents. Plus, as an Easy Rewards member, I got 30% back in points on my kids' school supplies.
Jumpin' Jellyfish. Your back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 719. Exclusions apply. Single use per week up to $60 in points. See app for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone, come back. It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life, come back.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at OurRealSuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in San Antonio without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in San Antonio for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text EARN to 64,000. San Antonio is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in San Antonio and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text EARN to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text EARN to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text EARN to 64,000.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back in here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Renji in the comment section on YouTube says he is shopping at the Alon HEB over there off Warriors Spot, Northwest Military. Dude, it's maybe one of the best HEBs in town. Very, very good HEB to be at, Ren. But as you saw in the comment section, as you've heard on this program before, Drew Show has called in 2 extra innings with Pledge to defend his take on Carter Bryant. And of course, I welcome everyone. 210-656 ESPN 656-3776. What's going on, Drew?
Well, I want to say that what I'm saying has nothing to do with Carter Bryant as a man or as a person. He's a wonderful kid, and I hope that he has a great future. I'm not trying to say that he doesn't have a chance. Everything has a chance, but I'm just trying to point out that the texture of this off season, especially in free agency,
sure,
with the new CBA, led to a lot of 3-and-D people available who got for cheap. For example, Kuminga, even though he was restricted, he was offered a $130 million extension. He got signed for $7 million per year. There's all kinds of deals with active 3-and-D people who could play for the Spurs now and not spend 3 years as a project, which Carter is. And as I think this is the greatest draft in history, according to them. Go back to 2013, one of the worst drafts, where Kelly Olynyk, our new Spur, was pick number 13. What was he? He was a senior. He had experience. He showed from day one, he scored 25 points, went 3 for 3 from 3, and like 4 for 7 from the floor, had 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 assists in his summer league.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that Carter Bryant isn't going to do that, but it's not looking that way. And I just think that we could have gotten if we were going to do a pick, we could have gotten a guy who is a senior or a junior who could play today with a high floor. They're out there. Or you could have traded for another number 1 pick in the future and signed one of those free agents. The only free agent we've signed so far,
Luke Cornett,
is but we got the other guy, the guard. He was technically free agent. I don't even know who his name is. Who is this guy? I forgot. He played for.
He was on the San Antonio Spurs,
but he was free agent technically, and he came back. So we got two guys, and we still got what, 2 roster spots?
I think 2 roster spots still available to him, and maybe there's a trade coming that we don't know about. Kelly Olynyk slapped us in the face at the end of one of my shows, and we didn't even see it coming. And so maybe there is an additional move that we don't see coming that they're still at least toying with out there in the periphery. And I can take Herb Jones off the market. I brought his name up a lot over the last month or so, leading into free agency as a potential trade. The Pelicans just extended Herb Jones 3 years, $68 million.
Oh, I want to let you have some news on your friend Jimenez. He's made the declaration that when Sohan comes up for free agency, he's going to get $25 million a year, $100 million contract. That's your boy, former SAS star.
Good. I will be one of the first ones in line to say that I hate that contract if it happens.
It'll never happen. Kuminga got $7 million. What is Sohan compared to Kuminga?
He's a glue guy. That's what Sohan is. He's a glue guy. He's a guy that's going to do the dirty work. And the one thing I do like about this offseason that I am going to give the benefit of the doubt of to Carter Bryant is they have added guys that I believe know what roles they're supposed to fit into, whether that's a Luke Cornett or a Kelly Olynyk, or even now Carter Bryant is a man who was a sixth man at Arizona, who is going to come in and understand, if you're open, shoot it. If not, your job is to play defense. And
along those
I
lines,
don't think we had enough of those guys on this team last year or the year before with Wemby.
And along those lines, I'm going to go with this thing. Remember Vote for Pedro? That great movie that came out. Well, I'm going to say, let's vote for Garcia. Garcia needs to be on a roster spot, considering what we have on two-way contracts and what we have open.
I think he may
Give the guy a shot.
I think he's earning his shot, Drew.
He looks like suspiciously like a guy that we had a few years ago when we had the Claw, who was, fire off the bench. So anyway, I called in. Everybody in chat, you're happy. I'm going to get back to taking a shower, going down, because I like to get hot and sweaty when I watch the Pledge.
Appreciate you,
and
Drew.
I work out.
That was Drew Show calling in here on Extra Innings with Pleasure to defend his take. And look, I think a lot of Spurs fans feel the same way he did about the 14th overall pick. I am just willing to give it time because they obviously see something that a lot of us don't. And Kelly Olynyk was a part of one of those things that they saw that no other Spurs fan or person with a microphone like myself was talking about as a potential move that helped to solve a need on this team. And they are slowly and methodically plugging those needs that they had as this offseason goes on. So I'm going to let the whole thing play out before I come to a full and final judgment and get too hypocritical before they do something that makes me eat my words a couple of minutes later. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. You guessed it in the comments, the Big 12 thing, it was the WWE. Their partnership, they're going to have WWE SmackDown on site before big games this upcoming college football season. I think it's a great move by Brett Yormark. It's a nice partnership. It's excess money for the conference, and it brings attention to those venues. And having SmackDown along with a big game, does that draw more college game day opportunities, more focus towards the conference? I think it potentially could. And I don't think that's a bad thing for them. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Remember, call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what people are going through in life, and a simple, hey, how are you doing, could save their life. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. We will check you tomorrow right here. Don't forget, no morning huddle tomorrow. So the Blitz 2 to 6, then right here with Extra Innings to close out your week right here on a Friday tomorrow on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist, with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our store.